My name is Andy Marshall. I'm Professor of Conservation Science. The project title is TruForest, and we've called it TruForest because what we're trying to do is get a true measure of the forests. This project is about developing a laser scanning network for Australian rainforests. Well, the thing that inspired the project really was when we try and measure these forests that have been impacted by things like cyclones or logging, they get very disturbed, and it means that it's very, very hard to survey them. We have to literally crawl on our hands and knees in really quite hospitable environments. And so if we can find a way to measure these places in a more simple way, like using lasers, it would save us a lot of time, it would get us better accuracy, and yeah, a lot of pain. Well, LiDAR is essentially measuring with lasers. So we're beaming millions of beams of light into the forests, and then we're measuring them as they come back and hit the lens. So that gives us a three-dimensional image of the forest, and from that we can extract things like the size of the trees, and the numbers of the vines that are on those trees, and other measures about the structure of those forests. Well, forests are hugely important globally. They are essentially the lungs of the planet, and with increasing climate change we're seeing rising levels of CO2, and therefore they're absorbing the impacts of climate change, and we need to measure that to understand how healthy those forests are, how well they're doing in terms of storing that carbon, and therefore how we can use that information to manage them. Well, it's different because it really is harnessing new technology. So we're buying equipment that is going to be spread across 4 Australian universities, and that equipment then will be open access for others to use. They're trying to make it more accessible so that we can use it more in the future and we can survey more forests. In terms of the work we're doing here at the University of the Sunshine Coast, a key research question we have is trying to understand how to predict whether forests are going to recover or not. What we're seeing across the wet tropics of Australia is that the cyclones have impacted the forests so heavily that they're not recovering. So by doing this work, we hope in the future to try and understand how to define a forest that's not going to recover, and therefore where best to recommend where management intervention can take place. At the moment, we don't quite know how to do the LiDAR scanning, so we need to understand how on earth to measure these places that are so inhospitable, and then how we analyse the data later. I think a key message here really is that we need to better understand and appreciate that forests need help. It's not always obvious what to do. By doing forest surveys, we can really understand whether these places need help or need to be left alone. So yeah, students are interested in getting involved in this high-level technology. We'd love them to come forward and come get involved in the fieldwork. Also, there'll be some field assistant positions under the project. But yeah.